Hey folks, we're back. It's 3 Minute Anime. This time on August 7th, 2017. And
Hooray.
yes, we're on to Eric's most recent recommendation. The somewhat absurdly titled Blockade Battlefront.
There is not enough alliteration in this.
No. Well, if you want less alliteration, you go with the Japanese title, which is Kekkai Sensen.
I'm pretty sure there's alliteration in there too, just not in the same way. There has to be alliteration. I mean, just look at that title.
So yeah, this was Eric's most recent choice. Eric, why don't you give a quick rundown of what the basic premise of the show is?
All right, so the basic premise is at some point in recent history, there was a gigantic dimensional incursion in New York, and most of it got sort of swallowed up, altered. We'll call altered. And the resulting area is referred to as Hell Salem's Lot because apparently they read a lot of Stephen King and thought Salem's Lot was his best book. It's a giant melting pot of weird and where weird and bizarre stuff is just sort of so commonplace. It's like, oh look, someone's face just exploded into tentacles. That's nice. It sort of takes the cliche of weird shit happening in New York and no one caring and dialing up to 12.
Yeah, possibly 13.
Yeah.
I mean, like, explosions get people, like, concerned.
Yeah, people will take note of an explosion. That might damage their
the
stuff.
shrapnel.
But, you know,
yes.
some sort of eldritch horror shuffling down the streets. Oh, it's Bob.
Yeah.
And basically follows the adventures of one Leonardo Watch and his accidental recruitment into the secret society of Libra, whose whole job is to make sure Hell Salem's Lot doesn't completely explode into all fuckery.
Yeah.
They are only moderately successful.
Yeah.
To a degree.
They're very good at stopping things from going. While they cause mass property damage, they generally stop things. They keep things from literally going to hell.
Yes.
This is what they're trying to stop, quite literally.
They do have a habit of doing this without the help of the police, mostly because the police want to take them down.
They're kinda,
Police are also very... don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Libra's very much...
to be fair, if I were wearing giant kick-ass power armor on my beat thing, then I probably wouldn't give a fuck either.
Yeah, it seems to work real well, too.
They're very much vigilantes, and
Yes.
vigilantes are illegal. Yeah, so we'll go out there and catch them.
To be fair, they seem to enforce
tomorrow.
They seem to be all about enforcing Libra as much as they are all about enforcing anything else, which is whenever someone's bothering to look.
Oh, look, Libra's right there. Fuck, we have to do
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
You're under arrest. Please, oh, look, they've gotten away.
Oh,
No, don't run.
But yeah, it's the show's weird. The show's a lot of fun and really weird. Or at least I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Each member of Libra has some sort of spooky power. Most of them involving manipulating their blood in some way. Except for Leo, who has the all-seeing eyes of the god, which is why he never actually opens his eyes unless something's bad.
Yeah.
He sees everything anyway.
Yeah.
And
So-
opening his eyes, well, you see these root-encrusted glowing blue orbs instead of eyes.
Yeah.
Which are only slightly unusual in the Hell Salem's Lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, Leo and his wheelchair-bound sister ran into something.
Yeah. They're basically visiting the edge of Hell Salem's Lot because their parents are sort of looking for a miracle to cure her sister of her paraplegism. And yeah, great. Elder thing took notice of them and said, guess what, guys? One of you gets to have the all-seeing eyes of the god, and the other one doesn't get to see anymore. Poor Leo's just sitting there speechless because, holy crap, there's an elder thing in front of me. And his sister's like, well, Leo's a photographer and reporter by trade, so he should probably have those eyes. It's not like I'm doing much anyway. So yeah, now she's blind too, and Leo's kind of feels more than a little guilty about that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It doesn't drive him, but it's sort of an undercurrent to what he does.
Yep. So yeah, but he can see basically anything and everything.
Yeah. Which occasionally has consequences.
Yes.
Which is why he has his eyes closed most of the time.
Yes. And he's got a few tricks he can do with his eyes too. Like
yeah,
he can alter other people's perception and shit.
Yeah, he can alter other people's perceptions. He can see through their eyes. He can force them to see through his, which is not good if you're not braced for it.
Yeah, no. There's a character at one point offhand mentions, "So what are you gonna do? Kill me with your eyes?" Implying that it's a character who actually knows shit, and he's implying that Leo probably could.
Yeah, he's not like, oh, what are you going to do? Kill me with your eyes? He responds as, so what's your plan? Kill me with your eyes?
And Leo's like, that might be the best thing, but I don't want to do that.
I have other things I'm going to try first.
The implication being that, yeah, there's probably a way Leo could do that, which is moderately... I mean, they are the all-seeing eyes of the gods, so...
Yeah. Congratulations, you get to see the truth of the universe. It will burn your brain out.
Probably. So yeah, Leo runs into one of the members of Libra, Zap, who mistakes him for somebody else and drags him in because supposedly he looks like the person that he... Supposedly he looks a bit like the person they were going to be bringing in to
oh, he's
Libra.
a dead ringer as long as you're holding the photograph upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Zap isn't the brightest of... Well, sorry. It's not that he's not the brightest. He's just extremely lazy.
oh,
Like, this guy...
Let's be honest here. Zap is both lazy and a bit of an idiot. He's very good at his job, but he's lazy
not
and
unintelligent. He's just a bit of an idiot.
yeah. So, yeah. And, Leo basically eventually sort of agrees to... Like, he basically agrees that, yes, I'm totally that dude. You just don't kill me. And gets drug in, and, the boss looks at Leo and goes, you're not the dude. And Zap's like, what? He looks just like the picture. It's upside down. Oh.
I knew that.
But they end up recruiting Leo anyways.
And the first episode involves there are these entities that like to hang out in Hell Salem's Lot. We only ever meet 3 of them called the 13 Kings. The King of Decadence, is it?
Depravity.
I want to say Decadence or Deviance.
Depravity.
Depravity, that's it. The King of Depravity decides, you know what? I'm going to play a prank on Hell Salem's Lot. There are 2 portals into a hell dimension which summons giant fuck-off demons. If the 2 halves of the demons ever meet, well, your guys are fucked. So, yeah, have fun finding those. And Leo's the one that figures out that one of the portals is not, in fact, on the hypersonic monkey they've been chasing the whole episode, but on a flea on the back of the monkey.
Right.
And therefore manages to get the portal closed, which pisses off the King of Depravity because, well, you thought it was a really great joke that they would kill the monkey and would make everything explode. Yeah. How dare you see through the punchline?
Now, if you're feeling a little bit lost after, we'd be discussing otherworldly portals, hypersonic monkeys, and fleas on the backs of hypersonic monkeys, welcome to this show.
Yes!
Yes. The show throws you into the deep end and expects you to tread water. Which I appreciate about it, honestly.
Yeah.
It also doesn't explain itself very often, or well.
No.
It doesn't really feel the need to. It's just like, here's something bizarre and crazy happening. This is a normal occurrence because no one else gives a fuck except for you, the audience.
This is my one major drawback about this show to me. It's okay being, show don't tell sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But there is, and that's generally a good thing, but there is too much of a good thing. and there are just a couple of things that I would have at least liked a little bit of explanation. Like, in the 10 minutes, if that I've read Wikipedia this afternoon, just doing a little bit of research for this, I have discovered more about the characters and their abilities than that is ever explained to you in the entirety of the show. I know what Chain's superpowers are now.
Yeah, you see her using them, but she's fast. She's got an amazing sense of smell. She can turn invisible. And she's got levels of snark approaching Sue. I think those are her superpowers.
Yeah. But it's like they make one reference to her. This is another character, part of Libra. And they make one reference to her. They call her the Invisible Werewolf. Now, she at no point turns into a werewolf. Or has any kind of wolf-like appearance. But according to the wiki, yes, she is, and her family are werewolves. You just don't see her transform, because she doesn't. There's no full moon.
Well, she doesn't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But her power set, and I guess just last bit of it, her power set is so, like, involved and interesting, even explaining her name. Her name is related to her power set. That I would have liked to investigate that a little bit more. I'm guessing it's something that's described and gone into in the manga.
Right.
And they just skimmed over it for the anime.
Yeah.
I will say the anime is much more interested in introducing you to the city, which very much counts as its own sort of character, than it is in explaining everyone's powers and how they work. Mm-hmm. It's much more interested in showing you, like, just the weird everyday shit that happens in Hell Salem.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, the city is very much a character unto itself. It's
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a lurching ball of disinterested insanity, is what it is.
I mean, honestly, the city is probably the best developed character of the show, in all honesty.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's not a knock. That's actually, like, I thinking about it, honestly, in some ways, this first season reminds me a bit of the first volume of the first compiled volume of issues of Astro City.
Yeah,
in that it's like that particular comic book. Those first 6 issues of the comic each one focuses on different characters and their views of the city to just establish what Astro City, the city, is. And a large chunk of the season of Blockade Battlefront is showing us Hell Salem Slot and what it is.
Yeah.
And we get some development of the actual protagonists, especially Leo. Leo gets a lot of coverage.
Leo gets a lot of coverage. Leo's actually a pretty cool character. I like Leo a lot.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's not often that the central protagonist ends up being my favorite character, but I think Leo might be my favorite character. Right,
I can totally grok that.
Because
I can
Klaus is
understand
fucking
that.
awesome.
Klaus is great. Yeah, this is the thing. As much as it's like saying, it's not normally the protagonist is your favorite character, because unfortunately in this show the side characters don't get a lot. This is Leo's story. They are there.
Yeah.
This is his story.
Yeah, I mean, we get a fair bit of Klaus and a fair bit of Zap,
Klaus, we get
and
a lot of
that's
Zap.
about it. Oh, well, actually, technically White also, but
Yeah, lots of white, lots of black, because they're important.
They're kind of, yeah.
They're important to the overall arc of the show, which a lot of it develops in the background.
yes,
And doesn't come to a head until about 3/4, 10 episodes
Yeah,
in.
there's a few episodes in this where nothing really happens apart from like one or two little, like a couple of seconds or like a couple of scenes where this is progressing the plot. Here's some wackiness. It's like, oh, okay.
and again, the wackiness often is
This
developing the city.
Yes, and it's important, but it's, as I said when we got towards the end of it, this was a 12-episode season. And we got Outlaw Star levels of fucking plot accelerator towards the end.
Yeah.
Plus a double-length final episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Which-
Sorry, yeah, this is a 12-episode season, except the last episode is an hour long.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's...
The show, I'm not going to say the show's good, but it's a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's a
We should
blast.
actually probably talk about all these characters we've been mentioning.
Yeah.
I will say one last point on that. This is not saying there are bad episodes.
Right.
Because the episodes I'm referring to are not bad, but they do spend a lot of time not giving a fuck about the plot.
Yeah, we talked about this after the show, and there was one episode I think we all agreed really didn't actually serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really establish anything new about Hellsalem's Lot even.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been used to develop some other stuff. Like every other episode at least either really tells you something about Hellsalem Lot you didn't know, or something about one of the characters are the important characters that we didn't know, etc.
It's like there's one episode without going over it beat for beat that features it's basically a Groundhog Day kind of scenario comes up where the episode by the end of it literally due to mass amnesia resets itself.
Yep.
So the entire episode basically as far as the characters are concerned didn't happen.
Yep.
They don't remember any of it. However, what it does do is gives us, as a viewer from the outside, probably the closest to an actual like street level. You know, what are the civilians like in this town?
And it also shows the degree of class separation.
Yeah, but it also as well does give a little bit of an inkling towards Leo and the way he thinks and his who he is as a person. It doesn't progress anything; it just gives us a bit of a lesson.
Yeah,
right.
It tells us about Leo. It tells us about more about the city, and in particular the very much the gigantic gap between haves and have-nots.
Yep.
Yes.
As opposed to the episode with the underground fighting arena, which we already know that sort of thing exists in Hellsalem Lot. It doesn't tell us anything about Zap. It doesn't tell us anything new about Klaus, except that we learn a little bit that Klaus actually likes fighting.
Yes.
That's it.
It's not something he indulges in often, but he really likes it.
Right.
We haven't really described Klaus. I mean, we'll go into the characters in a moment, but Klaus is this huge guy. He's technically human, but he has like underbite fangs and like
he has.
He reminds me of he's like an orc, or he even reminds me of Beast from X-Men.
Yes. That's who he most reminds me of, honestly.
Yeah, he's tall, wears a 3-piece pinstripe suit, is reserved and quiet and intellectual, but he's also an absolute badass. He just doesn't unleash himself very often, but you get the impression he likes to. He just knows he shouldn't.
Right. So that episode
Klaus is the big guns on the team.
Oh God, yes.
But let's actually talk about these characters some.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got Leo. Leo's not overly curious, but he's got a really good eye for composition. He likes he does photography, he does a little bit of reporting before he ends up hooking up with Libra so that he can actually eat. They give him a stipend that lets him eat food as opposed to bottomless coffee at the diner. He's braver than he lets on. He's painfully aware of his limitations as a squishy human. And will react accordingly. But you don't see him panic often. He'll have bouts, comedic bouts of panic, but they're largely for comedic effect, and usually keeps his shit together.
Oh, great God of Chow!
Yes. I'm stuck on a giant truck with this lunatic chick that wants to eat her boyfriend. But yeah, and Leo's got like a goddamn heart of gold. Like,
oh yeah.
And they never beat you over the head with it. It's just like Leo will see something that's not right, and he'll go, "That's not right. I should do something about that. How can I do something about that without getting killed? Where's Zap?"
Yeah.
And yeah, I like Leo a lot.
Oh yeah,
He's generally he's smart. He's a bit of a Boy Scout without beating you over the head with it.
Yeah,
and dude's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, he like goes on about like, and a lot of people sort of say this about him, is that he's just other than the eyes of the all-seeing eyes of God, he's a normal guy.
Yeah,
like utterly normal, like in every conceivable way, except Klaus basically points out that not exactly.
Yeah.
Klaus is
a lot of people don't do the shit you do because they could just walk on by. You don't walk on by.
Klaus is the leader of Libra and is, as Gav pointed out, a gigantic beast of a man with amazing facial hair.
Yes, truly amazing facial hair.
And orc-like tusks. He wears glasses. He's actually an intellectual. He loves chess and games like that.
He's very much a Renaissance man.
Oh, absolutely. Patient, good-hearted, kind, and utterly does not truck with otherworldly evil.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Nope, I am murdering the fuck out of that. Klaus's super special thing is Blood Brain Battle Grid or something like that.
I forget the names of their powers are all
some ridiculous
brain
name.
Brain Grid Blood Battle Style. It's the most complicated name of the lot.
Yes.
Basically, a lot of their all the main members, well, the majority of the main members, the combat members at least, I would say, have what's called a blood style. They manipulate blood into some sort of elemental power, and without skipping ahead, Zap has fire. There's one later that has wind. There's electric, ice, and Klaus basically falls under holy, from what I can understand.
Yep.
Yeah, he summons these giant ornate crosses that just explode things. Honestly.
Yeah.
He's also the group's big. He's not just the leader. He's the big guns. Everyone's job is to open up a path for him to get to the big bad. And there's one point where they fight a pair of ungodly powerful
elder vampires.
And they're like, all right, our job is to last long enough for Klaus to get here.
It is wonderful watching
a big epic fight with all sorts of really cool moves. The vampires aren't really trying very hard, and Vampire has them all like laid out and pinned before them, and she's gloating. And then Klaus steps off the subway and proceeds to punch them into oblivion.
Now, part isn't just that he's more powerful than the others, because though he is, it's also he is almost scientifically designed to make vampires' lives living hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, back to that whole holy powers thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also going back to the episode with the fighting pit without us recapping everything. One of the characters comments that, like, wow, oh my god, literally every single punch he's throwing is at the absolute weak spot of his opponent, and they're all fucking absolutely timed to perfection.
Yeah.
And, even the guys watching it, there's the guys in the crowd that are like, wow, he's beating the shit out of him, and then there's the guy up top who's like a super fighter. Who can keep up. He's like, wow, okay, that's not just random punching. That's like literally every shot he's throwing is directly at the joint. He's fighting some huge crab monster thing, and he's like,
right.
He's only punching the armor joints, and he's crushing him. That's ridiculous. How like precise he is.
Right, and that bends back to Klaus being an intellectual. He thinks during his fights.
Yes.
Yes.
There is no wasted movement because that would be silly.
It also helps that since they have the all-seeing eyes of the gods, one of the main things you need to be able to kill a vampire, or one of the big things, is its name.
Right.
And Leo can just look at the thing and say, "Ha, I know your name."
It takes Leo a little while to get it out and write it down so that he can hand it to Klaus, but yeah.
Right.
So that's the other thing that...
It's more the fact that Leo can't speak the language. He's like, okay, well, hang on, I'll write this down. Klaus?
I cannot pronounce
you
this. Klaus, here, shout this and yell something in German and make it go away.
So the fights with the vampires often end up with, everybody buying time for Leo to figure out what the fuck the thing's name is so that Klaus can conceal it.
Yeah.
Yes. The first fight they have with the vampire is like there's two of them that are basically holding the vampire off, like next to death. And all of a sudden you just hear Klaus come smashing through, announcing, in Germanic and just all this gobbledygook, just shouting shit. And then she turns around, she's like, "Fuck, you know my name!"
How do you know my name?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so screwed. Yeah.
Klaus is... I really like Klaus. Klaus is my second favorite character.
Yeah, he's also, again, he's got that whole Boy Scout.
Yeah.
He's such a...
He's also completely oblivious. Shit happens around him, unless it's a direct threat to him or someone he cares about, he just does not notice.
I don't think he doesn't notice, he just doesn't bother. He doesn't care. He knows what people are up to around him. It's like, okay, let them do their own shit.
Yeah, I mean, he will step in to help people.
Yep.
Because, that's... He and Leo are a lot alike in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think that's why they get along so well, honestly. Yep. I think Klaus saw that pretty early on. It's like, yep, we're totally hiring you.
Yep. So there's a lot. They are honestly the big thing. They're both big damn heroes, basically.
Yeah.
It's sort of they're what they are. It's
Klaus just has the muscle to back it up.
Right. In terms of direct physicality.
Right.
Yeah.
Which Leo will never have, but he has the all-seeing eyes of God.
Yeah,
so
Leo can see exactly what needs to happen and exactly what's going on. He just has to open his eyes. He doesn't want to do that very often.
And there are good reasons for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should probably move on to Zap.
Yes, absolutely. Zap is the white-haired tan fellow in the title card there.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Is wildly entertaining.
There's one episode that shows a day in Zap's life, and it's literally waking up in some girl's bed with a hangover, going and getting food, fighting something, going out, getting drunk, and going to bed with another lady. That's his day.
And then waking up with a hangover.
And repeat, and repeat, and repeat.
Except for the times when he's tormenting Leo, or affectionately tormenting Leo, I should put out. Yeah. Put out there. Zap does not express affection well.
No.
No.
But the more he picks on you, the more he likes you, and he really likes hanging out with Leo.
He's like a 5-year-old boy in the playground that doesn't know how to talk to girls.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, yeah. So that's how he interacts with everybody.
Everybody.
Like to the point where it's real. It's when you realize that one of the things he does is when he gets opportunity, he will try to sneak attack Klaus to try to take him out, basically. And Klaus, it's very much Kato versus Inspector Clouseau, except Clouseau is Klaus and is far more competent.
Yes.
So Klaus will just sort of block him and then punch him a bunch, and Zap will go thud.
Right.
But
usually without looking up from whatever chess or book that Klaus is reading.
Right.
Yeah. It'll just Zap will just jump in and just see Klaus's left arm come flying up with bang 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 bang. He's not stopped playing chess, but he just punched the fuck out of Zap.
I would, in my memory, it's a Tex Avery dust cloud every time.
Kind of is, but I mean the thing is, it really is sort of weirdly Zap's sort of way of looking out for Klaus almost.
It's also sort of a bit of hero worship. Like, he clearly really looks up to Klaus.
Oh, God, yes.
Say that. He can't admit it. That would be ridiculous. But
so the way to prove it is try to beat him.
Yes.
Just find that Zap pretty much knows he can't.
Right. In fact, as kind of superfluous as the fighting ring episode is, I will say it does show a bit of a insight into both Zap and Klaus, in that Zap calls Klaus claiming to need help because he knows Klaus will show up and have to fight things, which Klaus wants to do but doesn't get to do enough of because he holds himself back. And it's sort of a gift to Klaus.
Yeah, but it also ends up, he also goes out, use it as, way to, Klaus has now been worn out, I can totally take him out now. No.
Yeah, I don't mind spoiling that episode so much just because it is mostly, irrelevant, but, yeah, the whole thing of it is, it's like that little inkling into Zap, because the entire time, Leo's seen straight through this. He knows damn well. Why the hell would Zap invite Klaus down to a fighting pit? I can't see him. He's obviously not in direct trouble because we've not been threatened with him. So, who is he? What's going on?
What's his angle?
Obviously, Zap is working an angle here. It's fucking bullshit. And what are we doing? And it turns out he is working an angle, but it's completely opposite. He doesn't want him to come down here, beat the shit out of people so he can win loads of money on him because he knows how tough Klaus is. It's exactly the opposite. He wants Klaus to open up, and it's to help Klaus. The entire episode is to help Klaus.
Right. Help Klaus.
But also, and at the same time, clear his gambling debts.
Well, that too. That helps.
Yeah. let's not sugarcoat this entirely.
No, he's not, yeah.
Well, Zap can't do anything that doesn't directly benefit himself in some way. Otherwise, that would be you'd be a total wuss. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. Only wusses like Leo do shit like that. Shut up.
All right. But yeah, Zap is a lot of fun, though.
Yes. Zap's an idiot. He's a bit of an asshole. He's an affectionate asshole. His assholishness shows how much he likes you.
He's full of bluster and bombast.
He's your typical immature, all of his blood style techniques are flashy explosions and blades.
Yep.
It's what you'd expect, he's fairly, cut out and paste sort of character, but he's still interesting in his own way.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a lot of fun.
We also have Chain, who we don't see much of.
We don't see we don't see anywhere near enough of her, actually.
We don't see enough of her. No. Clearly, she and Zap are best friends because they are constantly insulting each other.
Yeah.
They have no interaction that is not a direct insult to one another, and which, from what we know of Zap, means he really likes hanging out with her.
Right.
And she knows how to return that affection in the way.
She knows whenever she shows up in scene in headquarters, she usually ends up basically teleporting on top of Zap,
Yes.
standing on his face or something like that.
Or his hand,
yes.
Or
top
something
of his
that
head.
would hurt.
Or his gut when he's lying there after having overeaten.
Mm.
Something to cause him discomfort and to annoy him.
There's a great scene that sort of sums up their relationship. And that's Zap's teacher in the blood technique has shown up and is basically giving him a do or die test. And Zap's sitting there totally freaking out, not sure how to go about it. And Chain goes, I know exactly how to motivate Zap. Oh, hi Agatha, yes, oh yeah. Oh, you mean that platinum-haired tanned Adonis? Zap, really? Yeah, no, he's probably not long for this world. Yeah, you're probably going to have to find someone else to jump your bones. Which, of course, means Zap goes and does it, and, that phone call was completely fake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. to the point where Zap fakes speaking to the talking clock to say sex.
At the tone, the time will be, yeah, babe, no, I just can't do it right now, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You don't have to talk shy and just tell me the time. I know the time.
And, as we mentioned, Chain is apparently actually a werewolf, and she's very fast. She can become invisible or something, and she's really good at tracking people.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly, according to the wiki page, and I'm guessing this is from the manga, she's actually capable of literally vanishing.
Yep.
Yeah,
As in-
no, she does that a couple times, actually.
Yeah, she actually. Hang on a second. Where's it gone? There we are. Move at high speeds. Does a large portion of recon work. We know that. Power consists on erasing her presence and needs a link, i.e., chain, to connect her to the world to counter the effect of her, or her ability will force her to cease to exist.
So Zap was what you're saying. That explains everything about their relationship. That's why she's always appearing on top of Zap.
Yep.
They really are best friends.
Yeah. Which, like I say, that would have been a great thing to explain.
Yeah.
Would have helped a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's brushed over.
But, and she definitely has a sadistic sense of humor, but it's also very clear there are people she's very good at picking up on how to interact with people that she actually likes and how to make sure that, she communicates with them in the right way. She's, mean-spirited and indulges her sadism with Zap.
Yeah.
With Leo, she's unfailingly polite and kind and warm-hearted.
I mean, okay, they're playing him for a laugh, but there's a bit where he goes flying through the air, and she basically catches him in the air, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks, Chain. I said, oh, look, that building's about to fall on top of us. Oh, well, I mean, I can vanish, so good luck.
Yeah. Oh, but again, but the rest of when she's talking with him in general, she's generally very nice and polite with him because she knows that's what he likes. That's how he is. But again, we don't get much of her beyond that, unfortunately.
No.
There's the next is there's Steven Starface. Basically, Klaus is second in command. He's got ice powers. He kicks people.
Yeah. Again, it's another blood power.
Yes.
Kick. A leg-based martial art, basically, but he can freeze things.
Yep. And he's
basically it.
He's fairly straight-laced and analytical, but
he's a bit sardonic too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's sardonic, straight-laced, analytical, and he kicks things into icy chunks of ice.
Yes.
You know the odd thing, we were chatting before we started recording this actually, and we were going about voice actors and all the rest of it. And Peter, you mentioned one, obviously the link between Ida from My Hero and from Bakano, Isaac.
Yep.
Same guy.
Yep. Steven is the same guy on the dub. Yep.
So he's kind of like in the middle. He's somewhere in the middle between the two.
There's KK, the sniper with electrical powers, who's
the blonde one-eyed sniper.
Yes.
Yeah, because of course.
She's got the very devil may care femme fatale thing going.
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
And clearly hangs out with Steven all the time. And they're constantly sniping at each other, because of course they are.
Yeah. She puts on that she can't say it. Why the fuck do I have to deal with this asshole again? And Steven's very that hurts.
That hurts. That really wounds me to the quick.
Yes.
In a sarcastic kind of way.
Yes.
Which clearly means that they're also best friends.
Yes.
And she's
go on.
She seems to harbor something of a crush on Klaus.
Yeah.
But apparently, at least
yes, we first meet her in a situation where Klaus is basically potentially in trouble, and she has genuine concern.
And I'm not sure
when we very first meet her in the episode, she's all flamboyant and devil may care and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, when stakes start getting high and Klaus is basically on the line, she's you see that real side of her.
Yeah.
And Klaus is, of course, oblivious, or at least pretending to be oblivious.
But yeah, that's about all.
We pretty much covered all the members of Libro's screen time. There's Lucky Abrams who shows up. Called that because horrible things happen around him by chance.
Yes, everything around him has horrible luck.
Yes,
but he survives
always. He is their resident vampire expert. He knows more about vampires than anything else. And a couple other members show up.
The luck thing is actually tied to a curse an ancient vampire put on him.
Yes, I remember.
Well,
yes,
no,
he's
again, going back to the wiki, he's actually mentioned his nickname, Lucky, is the result of many curses placed on him by the vampire enemies that he has made over the years. Multiple cursed. He's not even thrice cursed. He's multiple cursed.
That's not it. That's not what's mentioned. That's not mentioned in the show. I'm guessing again. That's probably from the manga, but yeah.
Again, whether it's due to his luck or the curses counteracting each other, Abrams himself has never actually been harmed. However, countless people have fallen victim to the curse in his stead.
Well, when he shows up, an airplane crashes.
Yes.
Well, the airplane he's on crashes.
Yes.
And he walks free. He
walks
away from it.
There are a couple other Libra members who sort of show up. There's
the butler.
There's Zed, who shows up pretty late. The fish guy.
There's Zed, there's Gilbert, who's the butler, and there's also Deldro and Dog.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, Deldro and Drog. Yep. Deldro and Dog are the aforementioned ex-boyfriend that this one chick wanted to eat.
He's a weird one. Basically, the reason, again, spoiling it, but it's basically his character, and this is all you really need to know. The character of it's two men in one body. Deldro is a bit of a sadistic badass. He's the bad boy, and this chick really liked the bad boy, but he was a bit ugly. Dog is milquetoast, bland, fucking nothingness, but he's pretty as all fuck.
Well, Dog's a goddamn retard.
Yes.
An oblivious dumbass.
And it turns out that the girl that was interested in this girl we're talking about is one of the 13 kings.
Yeah, she's
So, using magic and shit, she basically stuck Deldro in a blender, liquidized him, and replaced Dog's blood with Deldro.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the queen of monomania.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well named.
And so basically we get this thing that's now admittedly inspired directly by Carnage from Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
It's basically Dog runs around and then his blood can emerge as a symbiote-style armor suit.
Like almost Hulk-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're actually kind of funny, honestly.
Oh god, they're great.
They're great.
Dog's an idiot, but he's an idiot in kind of an endearing, entertaining way.
Yeah, he's a heart of gold, giant sweetheart, dumb as a stump.
Yeah.
But they don't play the usual trope with it either. They don't have they hate each other but they're forced to coexist.
No, they actually they get along.
They actually get along really well. Yeah. They like hanging out together.
Like Deldro would, you get the impression Deldro would really kind of misses being, human, but all things considered, this doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get superpowers. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, he has to remind Dog to stay inside the protective shell every now and again because he's a fucking idiot that keeps trying to stick his head out the side.
No, stay in. Go back inside. Back.
If you die, we both die. I can't help that, okay?
Yeah, and then they've got their butler, who is
the combat butler.
Yeah, he's a combat butler. He's always bandaged, and he's their driver.
Yep.
That's basically all we know about him from the show.
Yeah, again, according to the wiki, he actually does have regenerative powers, so the bandages are ironic, I'm guessing. He acts as their driver and handles intelligence work.
Sure, I guess. We don't get that in the show.
See him doing a few intelligence briefings, thinking about it.
Sure, they do, and he drives. We know he drives, and he's a very good driver.
Yeah.
That's a show. That was a show don't tell thing. You watching him involved in the driving, you're like, okay, this dude knows how to drive.
Yeah.
He's also a bit of a lunatic.
Yes.
The other two characters we have to talk about are White and Black.
Absolutely. I wanted to get Libra out of the way, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Libra
just before we do them, we didn't really mention Zed.
Right. Zed's...
He's a late addition. He's a counterpoint to Zap.
Yep.
Whereas
He's
they
pretty much
both
the exact opposite of Zap.
Well, this is the thing. They both trained under the same blood battle master.
Right.
But neither one could handle the full scope of this master's power, because it's very difficult to control two different elements, and this master could. So he taught Zap the fire element, and he taught Zed the wind element.
Yep.
It should be noted that this master knows all of this because he's basically a torso and an arm and a lot of hatred.
Yes.
So
this
much
guy,
hatred.
Literally sacrificed his body for his power.
He really, we mentioned, Klaus doesn't like the the evil underworld shit, and he's got trucks not with vampires. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. His hatred for vampires is nothing.
Yeah. This guy is literally just a ball of blood, manifested under a cloak behind a mask.
He's got an arm. He's got a fully functional arm.
We know he has a fully functional
arm,
arm, and we know he's got a head that's largely held in shadow underneath his hood, and the boar skull he wears as a hat.
Yeah. But yeah, Zed is your typical fishman kind of looking thing.
He's very much Ape Sapien.
Oh god, yeah.
No, he's admittedly again. Whereas Deldro's based on Carnage, Zed is based on Ape Sapien.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he forms tridents and does all the similar. Again, all of his blood powers form blades and explosions and strings and stuff, just like Zap's, except instead of fire, it's wind.
Yep.
And but yeah, he's basically Zap's polar opposite in terms of personality.
He's Zap's straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just deadpan flat. There's one scene where Zap's trying to haze him, and they all go out for dinner, and Zap immediately takes him to a sushi restaurant, trying to freak out the fishman. And Zed, to his credit, is just okay, cool.
Yeah,
Wait, what do you mean, cool?
What do you think most sea creatures eat? Fish!
Yeah. You think we're not carnivores? Yeah.
Because again,
it's well, we can't go. I just remembered we can't go here. Tuna is my unlucky number.
Yeah, Zap's completely crestfallen, and he just spends the rest of the episode trying to find the worst things in the world to get Zed to eat. And Zed's like, yeah, sure, we'll find this. There's ones where the food eats you if you're not quick enough.
Yeah, there are a bunch of that Leo, because Leo's involved. Leo's like, no! No!
Yeah, but Zed's like, yeah, we'll try this. Okay, we'll try the next one. Oh, yeah, we'll try this. Okay, that's the next one. And it's going round and round and round and round until Zap finally gives up. And
partially because Leo's dying of starvation.
Yeah. Can we just go back to the sushi place? And Zed's like, no, actually, I don't eat fish. He just fucking shits him within the entire time.
Well, Zap also says flat out, early on, yeah, he knows that Leo's hazing him. That Zap's hazing him. He says that. It's like, you're hazing the new guy. I know this.
Can we just go to the diner I usually go to and get a burger? Why can't we just get some food?
The thing is, they're having this discussion right outside the diner.
Yes.
And Zap's like, why didn't we just go here in the first place?
And if they had, they might have actually got to eat.
Yes. Yeah. At any rate,
hilarity
we really do have to talk about White and Black, though, because...
Yes, we have absolutely have to talk about White and Black.
This is where we're getting into sort of, if you want to watch and not be spoiled about the story, this is a good point to pause and come back after you watch the show.
They are as important to the story as Leo is.
Yes.
But yeah, so we first meet White in the hospital because Leo gets his ass kicked as he is wont to do, and ends up in the hospital. When we first meet him as he's wandering around the hospital waiting to get discharged, and finds a secluded little cemetery and chapel on the hospital grounds, and there's a girl sitting on the mausoleum. And she goes, "Hi, we're going to be good friends." He's like, okay. "I'm a ghost." "Huh, okay, I can believe that." Takes a picture. "Huh, ghosts show up on film." "I'm not a ghost, you idiot." And, yeah, White's sort of a permanent resident at the hospital because, as we find out, she's got something of a heart condition.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is perpetually bored and lonely there, and therefore instantly latches onto Leo because she's roughly his age, and is actually a pretty interesting and nice guy. So they become fast friends. Leo visits her regularly, sneaks her out to go to a movie once, which which is really sweet because you go to. So they end up watching Twins, the old Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito movie. I am not even kidding. That is what they have animated, like an animated version of that is on the freaking screen out there. They're watching it.
Yeah.
And White just sort of like starts crying, and because she's like, I've never haven't had a chance to do this in years. And thanks, I really needed this. And Leo's just like, I'm sorry, it's such a bad movie. I'll pick a better one next time.
Bad choice in a movie, and you should feel bad.
And Leo sort of ends up crushing her, but isn't really certain how to go about pursuing that because, you know, heart condition, and has to live in the hospital because of the heart condition. And Black is her twin brother. She refers to him as older because he's like 5 minutes or older. And yeah, Black's interesting and complicated. We find out pretty much during his introduction that there is more to Black than is immediately apparent because well, it's wearing Black's body when Leo first meets him.
Yeah.
Black is sharing his body with one of the 13 kings, the King of Despair, who is
thing going on.
Yeah, who's doing the who's the impetus behind the plot. And
to the point where like Leo meets Black in the hospital room with White. And he's like, oh, I remember you from the train the other night. And
Black's like, what are you talking about?
No, it wasn't me. I don't remember you at all. He's like, oh, okay. Well, Leo's got the eyes of the gods. He's like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
But
so,
they do have a little...
Probably a case of mistaken identity. But Leo's got the eye, so it clearly wasn't. There's something else going on.
They do have this little trope where basically when he transforms, shall we say, Black's normally got bright green eyes.
Yeah.
Is it green or blue? One of the two.
Green, because White has the blue eyes.
White has blue eyes, yeah. Really bright green eyes. And when it's...
White had the green eyes and he had the blue eyes.
Is it? Okay.
One way or the other. Either way, green, blue. Green, blue, good. Red, bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when he the Lord takes over, he basically runs his hands through his fringe and spikes it up and
takes off and his eyes turn red.
Yeah. So it's like a really obvious sort of clue that you can see.
Yeah. So yeah, the King of Despair is sort of riding Black's body and will take over on occasion. And Black's aware that he's in there, that the whole reason he's in there is because he made a deal to save White's life. White has a heart condition because her heart is actually one of the seals that keeps Hail Salem's Lot from eating the world.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I did.
Yeah, the whole collapse. The whole collapse that started this thing in the process was going to get a lot worse until something like, some stereotypical 13 casters from around the world stopped it from happening.
Right.
Held it in its tracks. And basically...
White and Black's parents.
Yep,
yes.
Two of which were White and Black's parents. And they died... So it was really bad, and White and Black are both powerful psychics, while their parents were... as well their parents. Huh?
Black is
right. White does not have any psychic abilities. White is a normie.
She's brilliant and brave, but
she's a normie.
No actual power.
White's kind of awesome. I really like White.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's a great character. And it made even more so once you get the background episode. for them. But during the collapse, their parents needed to seal it up. Both White and Black were there, but had been separated. White gets dead, so the parents put this create the seal on her heart to preserve her life. Like, her heart's gone, it's the seal now. That's why she has a heart condition. That's why they need to keep her in the hospital, because if it stops working, everything falls to shit again.
Yep.
And the King of Despair being one of the major entities that crossed over during this whole mess. Hey, there's White, and she's got a seal. She is unwilling. Here's Black. Black has powerful psychic abilities and offering himself up to leave his sister alone. I know what I'm taking. And yeah, like, Black very much is... He's a kind of a wuss, but it's sort of that, like, I don't want to... If I actually fight, I will break things in terrible, terrible ways, so I just don't fight kind of way.
Yeah.
He would rather be walked upon than risk making head explodes.
Right.
Using the power of head exploding. That's another thing. We actually catch their parents taking the kids to go see Scanners in the theater.
There's a great line where it's the scene in Scanners where the dude's head explodes, and his mom's saying, "Well, yeah, but it takes so much energy; it's exhausting to do that."
Scanning people, yeah, it's like.
And so the whole shtick with the King of Despair is he wants to start the collapse over again, and he gets help from the other two kings we meet.
He gets
Depravity and Monomania.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're bored, they want something to happen.
Fent and Aligula.
Well,
yes.
Yes, her name is Aligula.
Yes.
Fent mostly due to he's the King of Depravity. Of course he's bored.
Yes.
Yes.
And Aligula does it because why not? It's not the thing I'm obsessing over right now. You can have the thing that I happen to have that will let you do it.
You break it, I'll kill you, though.
Yes. And she will, because she can. So the problem with actually starting the Great Collapse again is that he needs to be able to do the ritual. Now, Black has the power to do the ritual, but he doesn't have the eyes. He can't see what needs to be seen to undo the rituals.
He's only human.
Leo's got those eyes. So the whole point of getting Black to become friends with Leo, White being a sad casualty in this, is to get a hold of the eyes, so he can use the artifact that Leo gives him to be able to use Leo's eyes.
Right, so, it's all about basically... basically, Black is basically constantly saying, you promised you would not do anything to her, and the King of Despair is like, she's doing this willingly. I didn't even ask her to do. I didn't really even ask her to do it.
Yeah, because she's basically willing to give herself up to free Black from the King of Depravity.
Because that's entirely what she's doing. She's like, oh, I'm dead.
I've been dead for years.
I want to make sure my brother lives.
Yeah.
And has a chance to be happy. Of course, neither of the two of them say anything about this to each other. A lot of these issues probably could have been avoided and resolved if they'd actually told each other what they were doing.
Right. Well, it's kind of part of their relationship, honestly. They will often do things without telling the other for the other's sake, and therefore fucking things up. Right.
Well, they're not telling them because they're afraid that if they knew what they were doing, it would hurt them, because they know that this could be dangerous for me, and if I tell them, they'll try to stop me, and that could get them hurt, etc. It's like, oh,
right.
Yeah.
Remember to talk to your twins before you do something stupid. It is the moral of the story.
Yeah, they might join in.
Yeah.
So she, of course, eventually White betrays Leo and slips the device on him, and the end of the world.
Luckily, it doesn't. Luckily, it doesn't gouge out his eyeballs, which I always thought it was going to do.
Yeah, when I first saw it, that's what I was assuming too.
I was kind of afraid of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but what it does is it just lets the King of Depravity, the King of Despair, use Leo's eyes. Like it gives him the power of the eyes of the gods. It's not pleasant for Leo.
No, it hurts.
One of his eyes breaks and starts bleeding as a result. Which I thought was actually really cool when they showed that, because from like that point on, whenever Leo opens his eyes, there are these two luminescent blue orbs encrusted with gems. After he's worn the device, one of them looks like a broken glass orb held together by his skin. Like the runes don't line up anymore. It doesn't glow as brightly. That sort of thing.
Yep.
So end result is White dies because she was already dead. The King of Depravity ends up being banished from Black's body. Largely because Leo shows up during this whole thing, which happens on Halloween, which Fex finds just insultingly obvious.
Yeah. He's like, oh, for crying out loud.
Halloween, really? It's so obviously droll, it just removes any fun I could have had. Thanks a lot.
This is so trite. So yeah, basically, Depravity and Klaus get into a big fight, and Klaus holds his own for a while.
Right, but this is an elder god he's fighting for all intents and purposes. It might be wearing some kid's skin, but it's an elder god.
Yeah, it basically is a formless horror.
And honestly, Despair points out, Despair is fully aware that if Klaus wants to, he can banish Despair out of the situation by killing Black.
Yep.
And Klaus is like, no, I'm here to save the kid. Fuck you. And Despair's like, oh, come on.
What's amusing is the impetus that gets Leo off to start things, because Leo wakes up in incredible pain at the bottom of a fucking in the basement of a church. It's Fenk, the King of Depravity, that shows up, wakes him up, and gets him moving again. Because seriously, fucking Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, the best part is he basically sits there, he basically tells he does the classic sort of villain thing, supernatural villain thing. It's like, let's play a game. I'll flip a coin. You call it. If you win, I'll let you go, and I'll help you and let you go. If you lose, I get to kill you and do horrible things to you. And Leo's response is, "Fuck you! I'm not playing your game," and leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, to his credit, Fent's whole response is, "Well, that's just boring."
Because there's a bit where he has an exchange with the King of Despair, and the King of Despair goes, "That's just so normal. So normal."
So fucking normal. They do a great job with Fent of making sure that, yeah, he's technically an evil, but he's not really. He's
totally evil.
Chaos.
He's just fun. He's just having fun fucking with Despair, because Despair is just such a prude.
Yeah, they make sure he doesn't really give a shit about the plan working. It's just whatever entertains him.
Yes, and a big fat fight between all the parties is much more entertaining than watching the world end on Halloween. Because seriously, Halloween.
Yeah, do it on Christmas. That's when it's funny.
Or Easter.
Easter,
Labor Day.
Arbor Day, Eric. Arbor Day.
Fact would totally choose Arbor Day, yes.
Oh my god. So, yeah. But Leo basically shows up eventually, after Klaus has finally sort of been beaten to the point where he just basically can't move anymore.
Yes. White, by the way, is dead at this point.
Right.
She's still there as a ghost, which Leo can see because he's got the eyes.
Yes.
But no one else can perceive her.
Black shoots her.
Yeah.
More accurately, Despair shoots her in Black's body.
Despair doesn't just shoot her. Despair shoots the seal, which is her heart.
Right.
To break the seal.
Which doesn't quite break the seal, which is what he was expecting. It's like,
Right.
ah, done it. Why is the seal not broken? Ah, fuck. God damn it, she hasn't given up yet. Fuck!
So Leo shows up and Despair's like, so what are you going to do? Kill me with your eyes? It's probably the smart thing to do. But I've got other options. So he makes Despair be able to perceive light.
And more accurately, he notices, he's able to see that Black hasn't given up yet.
Yeah, Black's still there.
And doesn't want
Black's
to die.
fighting. Yeah, Black doesn't want to die. He's still fighting.
So Leo's like, okay, here, see what I can see. And Despair's like, wait, no!
Which, of course, makes Black actually banish Despair.
Yep.
Like Black gets his shit together and banishes Despair out of his own body. Because he's a really powerful psychic. And now he has a reason to actually turn it up to 11.
Yeah. And, he and his sister have a really sweet moment together before she basically,
Yeah, he basically says, I can't rebuild the seal. I have to make a new one. She's like, yeah, I know. The only power source around is what's left of you. Yeah, I know. I'm really sorry. Do what you gotta do.
Yep. And, so she does, so, he manages, so she's dead, she is dead at this point, like, gone.
Right.
But the seal has been reestablished in the city, and the world is saved.
Yes.
And then ends with, Leo having a little conversation with Klaus, as Leo sort of desperately trying not to break down in tears over, all the pain and awfulness he's gone through, the loss of his friend.
Right.
But,
seeing his other friend there in a shirt that used to be white but is now bright red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, we get a little bit of an epilogue where Leo's finally able to write a letter to his sister.
Yeah, because a lot of the series is framed as a letter to his sister that he spends most of what we see with a blank page going, so, really need to write to my sister. Really not sure how to start.
Yep.
So today I met a mushroom that looks like a penis when he gets upset.
Yeah. And, but he's finally able to write a letter to his sister. Again, I hope someone read it to her. She's blind.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do actually see his sister's eyes, and she's got, like, the whole cosmos eyes.
Yep. So, yeah. I have no idea.
So, honestly, this show really should have been probably 50 episodes.
Needed a lot.
It
seriously could have been a normal length series at least.
Yeah, it should have been probably 24 episodes at least. It could easily have filled up, been like another Full Metal Alchemist or Soul Eater or something. Complete with the big epic end of the world ending.
Yeah. You could easily have gone in, given an episode each to the characters, the individual characters.
There's a lot of stuff they could have done. It really feels compressed and rushed.
Yes.
And from what I understand, it is. There's a lot of stuff they chopped out to get it into 12 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, one of those is actually technically 2 episodes.
Yes. And there is going to be a second season coming out. It's confirmed. It's, I think, October.
Yep.
Which is covering the next major arc in the manga. I don't know.
Something to 24 episodes this time, or the arc is shorter.
I have no idea. I've not looked up anything on this, so.
Neither have I. I am waiting to be surprised because the show is super compressed, but I still really like it. I enjoy the show.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It is not a good show, but it's a fun show.
So I guess we should move into final thoughts.
Yeah.
Gav first, I'll go second, then Eric, you'll wrap up since it was your recommendation.
Sure.
Well, I think my main thought of it is as we've said there, it could have done with a little bit more breathing room. It has multiple. When you finish the last episode, there's a lot still that's left. Like, why? And I don't even just mean the characters themselves. I mean, it's like they've set up other plots going here. You can tell this is not a 12-episode season. This is a much larger story. And this whole thing with the King of Despair is simply this series arc. There is an overarching story going on. Quite blatantly. It's a good 2, 3, 4 episodes are used to talk about that plot arc, which is never resolved. It's going into next season and beyond. It's quite obvious that they had absolutely no intention of this season being the end of it. And because of that, it feels a little bit incomplete and probably a lot rushed. There are things that they could quite easily do. You know, all these characters are complaining that don't get enough screen time. Their episodes might be next season. Mm-hmm. But on its own, as a one-off, this season just doesn't explain enough. It just shows you a load of stuff and says, that's okay for now, we'll get to it. I'm like, well, when? You know, it's as a one-off season on its own, I probably wouldn't recommend this until a little bit later down the line when when the second season's out at the very least. Depending on how that turns out, of course, and going forward. It's a fun series, but if you like to invest in the story and you like everything to be wrapped up and neatened off at the end, this is not the show for you. It leaves a lot of question marks at the end. Other than that, the character design I liked. The powers they give them were unique enough in their own right. They're fairly stereotypical, anime fare by this point, but they use them well and they're interesting. Nice mix up with some of the other more over the top team members like Deldro and Dog. And the music in this as well is really good. The opening theme's a good one. And they use music well. There's some good pieces actually throughout the series as well. So yeah, it has its points. It is a good show, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gav. I largely agree with you. I would definitely say this show is incomplete. Is I think the best way to describe it. It desperately needs a second season. My gut feeling is it desperately needs its second season, and it's getting it, which is great. I really do hope that season 2 develops some of the characters we've not had enough time with more. I hope it's more cohesive. I'm guessing we won't need to spend as much time developing Hell Salem's Lot anymore. We know Hell Salem's Lot. We need to focus more on what's going on and going forward and the characters that we not really we need more of Chain, we need more of the Butler, we need more of Steven, we need more of Zed. Not Zed, Zap. No, Zed, yes.
Yeah.
We need more of those guys. We need more of those people just to know, and we need more of KK just to know the characters more. And hopefully that we'll get that. As a self-contained, standalone 12 and 13 episode series, let's be real. It's a lot. Eric's right. It's a lot of fun. I had a fucking blast for almost the entire time. There wasn't an episode I was bored. Every episode was entertaining. While there was one episode I definitely think could have been used for something else. The arena fight one. I enjoyed that episode. It was fun. I don't want them to cut that. I wanted there to be more episodes. Honestly, if this show was even just 5 episodes longer, it would have helped so much. It just needed a little more time to breathe and to round some other stuff out. That said, Gav's right. The music's fantastic. I would say honestly, weirdly, I think the opening theme, while really good, might be the weakest piece of music in the show. They use jazz and blues throughout it brilliantly. There's a couple, the battle theme is incredible, and oh my god, the ending theme is fantastic.
The ending theme is friggin' amazing.
Yes.
And when I say the opening theme is the weakest one, it's a good opening theme. It's a really good opening theme. Serious credit to the band Bump of Chicken.
Bump of Chicken!
Fuck.
For a really good opening theme, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not it sort of pales in comparison to the rest of the music design. And, it's pretty. It's a good looking show. I really do like the character designs mostly. I think Klaus is the standout character design in the show.
I'd agree with that.
He's just he's got elements from some other characters. Like he's got some elements of Beast. He's got some elements of Roger from the Big O. Just sort of his general the way his body's framed.
Yeah, he's a huge beast of a man.
He's unique in anime. I will say this.
I can't think of any characters who actually look like him. All of his bits put together. There you can see there are elements from different characters here and there, but as a whole, he just is unlike anything I've seen, and it's really refreshing.
And considering the fact that pretty much everyone else in the show are all real-world humans, the only ones that stand out are Zap with his hair and Kekkai, who just happens to wear an eye patch.
And with Kekkai, it's not, what stands out about her, honestly, isn't so much her look, though it is distinctive with her blonde hair, the eye patch, the trench coat, but it's the way she moves almost more than anything else.
Mm.
Like I don't know about Eric's better able to speak to the quality of the animation, but it's Bones who are really good in general, and they do a really good job in general of adapting anime. And my gut feeling is they're on point with the way characters move. All of them have their own distinctive sort of way they walk and move.
Walk cycle is what you're trying to say.
Well, it's not just their walk cycle. It's just like the way they hold themselves and move across the board. All are distinctive, and speak to their characters. Zap, every bit of Zap's movement is lackadaisical and lazy, and Klaus is very moves with purpose and efficiency. And you basically almost never see very little movement out of Chain because she's so fast and gets where she's going so quickly. And Kekkai's got this sort of it's hard to describe the way I love the way she's animated.
It's swag.
She's got a real swagger to the way she moves. That's actually a good way to put it, Gav. And I really like that about that. And again, she's the character I like. As much as I want to see more of Chain, I really want to see more of Kekkai in season 2. I want to know more about her because she intrigues me, and I don't know why. It's like there's no good reason why I should find her more interesting than Chain, because I find Chain fascinating. But again, neither of them have anything explained about them, and that's like one of my big problems with the show.
I think that's why it is, to be honest. Because we've been shown these interesting things, it's like, well, tell me more, please.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Either that or it's a sniper rifle.
Well, there's that too. I mean, she's the only character who uses guns.
Yeah, she's the only one that uses a weapon at all.
It's still blood magic, but she fires electric projectiles, basically.
She's the one who fights at range. Everyone else is a melee combatant. And, it's interesting. Anyways, overall though, I did enjoy this, and I would say, go watch it. It's fun, and hopefully season 2 will round out the story. Fingers crossed.
If I can just say one last thing,
sure.
I know I've had my turn, but it's what I do. You know how we all felt about what's it called? There's been a couple of shows now that we've done where we've got to the end of season 1 and thought, no, that's not enough.
Oh, it's like Fate Zero.
Fate Zero, especially, yeah. Fate Zero and Konosuba.
Yep.
And we watched the second episode to see, does this get any better? And I think this is going to be one of those shows that does that. The downside is the second series hasn't arrived yet. So at this point in us viewing it, we're at that cut-off point where we want to see that. If we had a second season now, we would have been watching that second season through and done the whole thing.
I think you're probably absolutely right. Anyways, Eric?
Okay, so this is my second time watching the show. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with the show, and I have the same complaint everyone else does, is that it is way too truncated. It desperately wants to be 15, 24, 50 episodes long. Because there's a lot of really great stuff in there, and I wouldn't trade any of the episodes we have for more stuff, for another episode developing the plot or anything, because it really does just tell you everything. It really shows you the city and the main characters. It does a good job of showing you Klaus, Zap, Leo, Black and White. Everyone else suffers for those 5 characters, because I'm counting the city as a character.
That'd be 6 then.
I said I can math. That's what I said. But it's beautifully animated because Bones knows what the hell they're doing. Everyone has an excellent, like... Peter's right. Walk Cycle doesn't quite cover it because it's the entire... their entire suite of movements that they go through, which tells you as much about their personality as their interactions with everyone else. Mm-hmm. They're all very characterful. Like, for the lack of screen time Chain gets, you can tell by the way she moves and everything about, like, everything you need to know about her personality.
Largely, yeah.
And the whole plot on making the seals with Black and White could have been, like, easily 24 episodes, but they decided to cram it into 13 for all intents and purposes, because I'm guessing that's what they had. I almost get the feeling that it was originally plotted out for 24, and then they got cut down to 12, and they needed to just cram everything in there.
I would not be surprised by that at all.
Looking at this, it's had 10 volumes of manga, and a good chunk of it, there are whole, like, chapters here that, like, indicate they would be dedicated to Chain. For example, there's 2. Right. One's called Werewolf Mission, and the other one is Escape from Pain Chain Reaction.
Right.
I like the name.
And that's And yeah, I would love to learn more about Chain. Chain's the one I want to learn about.
Yeah, sure.
As opposed to KK for Peter. But at the same time, I really like all the other characters in the show that get attention. And the show's fun. I think I won't say it's good because it being so truncated really hurts it, because this could have been one of the greats. If given the time to breathe. It really could have been, yeah.
It actually looks like they did get into a lot of trouble trying to stretch as much as they could out of this. It originally, again, sorry to interrupt, but it originally aired like April to July of 2015.
Yep.
And the original episode was originally scheduled for the 4th of July. But because they made it an hour long, they fucked up their schedule. They only had a 30-minute time slot. They couldn't get it, so they had to delay it until October.
Yep, I remember that. I rember telling you guys about that and how much that really fucking pissed me off because I was watching it as it was coming out.
Yeah, so the last episode should have been on the 4th of July. It didn't come out until the 4th of October.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, and honestly, I respect the decision not to try to cut that down to a half hour because
God.
Like, I couldn't imagine trying to do that.
No. That episode would not have worked. Like, honestly, even breaking it in half as a 2-parter wouldn't have worked as well.
Nope. It really needed to be an hour long, an unbroken hour long. And, I have no problems with their decision to do that. My problem is making it a 12-episode series. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. The characters are all interesting. The music's great. It's really well animated. My only complaint is it really should have been 24 or 50 episodes.
You keep pushing up to 50.
Honestly, dude, so many other series could have pushed that to fucking 100 easy. One Piece would have had this at 260 episodes.
At any rate, I guess that
So
wraps
yeah,
up-
I would recommend it. Just it's got a bit of a Gynax problem, is what I'm saying. And that lot of good ideas that don't get to breathe as much as they should be allowed to.
At least it's not what Madhouse often does.
Yeah, which is, and yep, we got to this point. That's all we had scheduled. So fuck you. Still bitter about No Game No Life.
And Overload, Lord.
And Overlord, yeah.
Oh boy. Anywho, I think that wraps up this episode. In something resembling a reasonable amount of time for once.
Yay!
Well, that's what happens when you don't do an episode by episode breakdown.
Yes, I know, and that's we desperately wanted to try to avoid doing. We're trying to cut back on that because, honestly, Girls and Panzer being our episode on that being 3 hours long. Yeah,
The show's not that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we tried to do Fooly Cooley?
Oh my God, we'd be here all week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
The review
this
episode would be longer than the entire series.
So those that do watch this, this is an attempt for ourselves to change the format a little bit. So we're actually going to review an episode rather than just tell you exactly what happens beat for beat.
Yeah. Well, we didn't actually do a beat for beat recap on Girls and Panzer. Weirdly.
No.
Well, no.
It just took
There's
us
just
forever.
so much shit in there to go through.
Also, we all really love that show, so.
Yes, we could talk about that show for days.
At any rate, so...
I started playing World of Tanks because of that fucking show.
and
I have a Hetzer.
Eric started playing MechWarrior Online again, so...
Yep.
At any rate, next
The only
time
thing better
is-
than Girls and Tanks are be in mechs.
Yeah, fair enough. Next time will be Gav's recommendation. Gav, have you chosen your next show? I asked.
I have.
Oh, no.
It's one I've been threatening
Oh no.
for quite some time, and I was kind of just using it as a joke. But one of my friends, and I'm not going to name names because no, he's actually suggested it. It's come through the suggest list. So hold on to your butts. We're doing Keijo.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so Keijo with many exclamation points.
What? You got to suggest other things like that?
Yeah, we all.
bag.
Gav, you're right. It is your turn to you are allowed to do a fan service show since both Eric and I have done one.
Yeah.
I maintain Kill la Kill is not a fan service show.
Oh, it
There's
fucking
a show
is.
that uses fan
It's a fan
service.
service show, but it uses the fan service. This is a different beast.
Well,
This
they're
is
all
a very
very
different
different in
beast.
how they do. They're all very different in how they use their fan service. Totally, I had
Which
Shogeki
was
no
yours again?
Soma. Eric, you had
Oh
Kill la
yeah,
Kill.
Soma. Yeah. See, Soma, that did it in metaphor. Keijo,
Yes.
not so much.
Yes, the girls are actually in bikinis. Anyway, so Keijo next time, guys. It's going to be quite a ride, I suspect.
I remember
Thanks so
hearing
much
something
for
about a
listening,
vacuum
everybody.
butt cannon.
I'm going to have to say that with a straight face.
Yes.
Let's try that.
You're going to have to say that without giggling.
And I will say, that's the tamest of the abilities.
I'm aware, but I'm going to have to say vacuum butt cannon and not break out laughing. Like that. Anyways, that's going to do it for this time, people. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.